What's up, guys? I hope everybody's doing well. As a lot of you know, I've been pursuing freelance filmmaking for about a year now. So if you're a beginner, I've been in your shoes recently, and today I want to share my top 5 tips for anyone starting out. Now guys, before I get started, I just want to say that I'm not an expert in this field, and I'm not trying to claim to be an expert in this field. Like I said, I've only been doing this for about a year, and I just want to share a few tips that I personally have learned over the past year. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so my first tip is don't worry about what you're shooting on. Now, before I got a DSLR, I shot everything on an iPhone SE. So this thing had 16 gigabytes of memory, and about 7 or 8 gigabytes of those were being taken up by the operating system. So I couldn't record very much at all. The camera wasn't great. It came with a lot of limitations. And honestly, when I go back and look at the videos I made, the videos that I made using this phone don't look that good. But I learned a lot of super valuable skills and concepts of video just by using this phone that got me to where I am now. Honestly, if it wasn't for this phone, I probably wouldn't be filming on a DSLR right now. I really think not worrying about what you're shooting on goes a long ways. If you decide not to shoot because you only have a phone or you only have, a cheap camera, it's gonna stop you from growing. You've got to start somewhere, so just get over the fact that you got a cheap camera, or get over the fact that you gotta start out on your phone and just get to it. Now, while I'm on the subject of gear, my second tip is skill first, gear second. A mistake I see a lot of new filmmakers make is thinking that they have to have the best gear on the market to make great videos. Yippee! And this is so wrong. Guys, gear is great, but it doesn't operate itself. Gear lifts the ceiling on what you can do with your skill, but it doesn't replace the skill it takes to make great videos. For example, if someone says that they want to fly and you just give them an airplane, does that give them the ability to fly? No, it doesn't. The skill to fly the airplane is what gives them the ability to fly, and the airplane is just what makes it possible for them to use that skill to fly. Gear is the exact same way. A great camera is not going to improve the quality of your videos, but so much. You have to have the skill to use that camera properly to use it to its fullest potential. And that is so important, and so many people miss it. So that's why that's my second tip. So tip number 3 is be confident. So what I've realized over the past year filming for other people, especially weddings, is that if you take your work seriously and you are professional about it and you act like you care, you show them that you care, and you show them that you're gonna do your job to the best of your ability, they're gonna take you seriously. Whenever I show up to a wedding to film, I look professional. I'm wearing all black, I'm holding my Steadicam and my camera, I'm very polite to people when I talk to them, I shake people's hands, I say, yes sir, yes ma'am. I take what I do seriously, and people can see that. And people will take you seriously if you take you seriously. When I started out, I would have to go chase down the photographer, chase down the wedding planner to find the details I needed to know for the day. Once I learned to be professional and take it seriously and be confident, now I have the photographer and the wedding planner coming up to me and giving me details because they can see that I'm serious about it, and they fill me in with details I need to know. And having that respect is really awesome, and it helps you be more confident. So be confident, be respectful, and look professional. It's kind of a broad tip, but there you go. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is use your resources. I'm not talking just resources that you have, like your gear. I'm also talking about like YouTube, all kinds of resources, but just learn to use them well. For example, when I started out, if you look back at some of the first videos on this channel, you'll notice that I filmed my tutorials in the woods. And you might be wondering, why did you film your tutorials in the woods instead of with these fancy video lights? Well, it's because I didn't have these fancy video lights, Like right now I have a diffuser up in a tree, literally right here, to keep the light even on my face. And you didn't know that. That's super tacky, but it works and it makes the shot look good. So, but I made it work. I used my resources. I was like, where can I film where the lighting's gonna be good? The woods is the only place I could find. Now, honestly, most people will probably find a room in their house that'll look better than the woods. But for me, the woods worked, and the woods just got it done. So that is like a super basic resource that I used. And it worked. And now it got me to the point where I can have a nice lights and film here. So use your resources. Now, I understand sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes it can be hard to know how to use all your resources. But a good way to do it is to identify the need you have to fill. If you have multiple needs, write them down on a piece of paper. Identify the need or the needs, and then you brainstorm through all your possible resources that could fill that need. And then sometimes you can figure something out, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you gotta borrow something of your friends, you know, but just make it work. Use your resources, it'll get you a long ways. All right, last but not least, tip number 5 is treat it like a business. Now, I know I'm getting ready to sound like Captain Obvious, but if you want this to be your career, you need to treat it like your career. If you want this to be your job, if you want freelance filmmaking to be your job, then get off the couch and treat it like your job, and get up early and work hard. Treat it like your business. Now, the reason I say this is because until about a year ago, when I was filming, you know, on my iPhone and I was just kind of experimenting around with it, I didn't treat it like a business. I didn't even call it filmmaking. I just liked to make videos, and that's what I did. And that was fine at the time, but I wasn't pushing myself. And it wasn't until about a year ago when I started pushing myself that I started seeing myself grow. So when you push yourself, it's like, instead of saying, oh yeah, I feel like going out and filming today, you're like, oh, I need to take time today to learn about my camera. That's the difference. That's basically the difference in mindset. You see, I don't know about you, maybe this is just me, but I find it very hard to grow when I'm restricted to my comfort zone and my leisure. If I'm restricted to my comfort zone and my leisure, I'm not gonna push myself, and I'm not gonna grow, if that makes sense. Now, once again, maybe that's just me, but that's how I work, and hopefully that'll help you as well. And don't get me wrong, like, I still have fun filmmaking. I still have fun doing this stuff, but at the same time, I'm pushing myself to do it so that I can grow, instead of just doing it if I feel like it. So it's really just comes down to the difference between a hobby and a business, but treat it like a business. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it useful. If you are a new filmmaker, or if you want to get into filmmaking and you have any questions, or if you have found this video useful, just leave a comment below. I would love that. Also, if you would like to see more videos like this in the future, please hit that subscribe button, and that really helps support me as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.